What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over everything I think that's important to know about Chapter 5 Season 1. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, and comment down below what you think of the new Fortnite season. So, with it being a new chapter, there was a lot of changes with this season. We got an entirely new map, a new loot pool, and then also some new mechanics. We're going to start off with the loot pool. There was two new ARs added, the Nemesis AR and the Striker AR. The Nemesis is more of like a high-ranged, high-damage assault rifle, whereas the Striker is more of like a higher fire rate but lower damage, maybe kind of like a close to medium range weapon. I think if you're going to be using a main AR, I prefer the Nemesis AR, but again, it's only been out for a few hours, so I'm not solid in that. We got two new shotguns, the Hammer Pump and the Frenzy Auto Shotgun. I think both of these are fine. If you like the pump, you're going to like the pump. If you like the auto, you're going to like the auto. I don't think either of them are like ridiculous. I think they're both like pretty well balanced, and I did win games today with both of the different shotguns. The SMGs that are in the new update are going to be the Thunder Burst SMG and the Hyper SMG. The Hyper SMG has lower damage but a really high fire rate, and then the Thunder Burst is a Burst SMG. So far, I think I prefer the Hyper SMG, but I'm not really too fond of either of these weapons at this point in time. The Reaper is a bolt action sniper, and then there's also the Ranger pistol, which feels pretty similar to the tactical pistol from Chapter 4. There is a new grapple blade mobility item which will allow you to grapple around, and then it does have a melee attack as well. This is one of those types of mobility items that has a certain amount of uses and then it goes on cooldown, and then you get it back over time, so it is like unlimited mobility. But so far from using it, I didn't enjoy it as much, and I would rather use shockwave grenades, which are also in the loot pool, but shockwave grenades are a consumable item, or like it uses it after you use it, so there is some kind of like give and take there, where the grapple is infinite, but maybe not as good as like the shockwaves are. Also, all the ARs and SMGs currently in the game are projectile, meaning they have bullet drop and travel time, similar to the DMRs that we had in Chapter 4 and 3, but they aren't as slow as the DMRs were in terms of like their bullet drop. A lot of people might not even notice that these weapons are projectile unless you're fighting at like really far range, but they are projectile. There is new movement in the game, and this is kind of hard to talk about because it feels slower, especially crouching feels slower, but it's hard for me to like talk about this. It's very feeling based. When you get on the game, the movement is going to feel different. I'm not sure how I feel about it at this point, but it is definitely different. One of the bigger changes in this update is how the healing items work, because you can now use healing items while moving, and they give you health over time. So in the past, you needed to drink all 5 seconds of your big pot, and then you would get 50 shield. But now, while you're using it, you will get shield over time, and then you can cancel it, and it's not like that shield you got over time went away. If you use it for the entire 5 seconds, you're going to get 50 shield, but if you don't need 50 shield, you won't have to use it as long, or like let's say you get interrupted while using it, you still will get some of that shield, you're just not going to get all of it, and canceling of it does consume the item. So this has been leaked for a while, and people thought you would be able to drink your big pot and then have some remaining left over for later on, and that's not how it works. You could have a full, just a regular big pot, drink it for like a very brief moment in time, like let's say you're at 99 shield and you just need that one tick. You drink it for that one tick, and then it's gone. Once you hit 100 shield, you consume the 5 seconds 50 shield timer, or you cancel it, the item itself is gone. It's not like you get to save it for later, but this is pretty helpful in situations where, you don't need full health. You don't want to like go through the entire animation, but you want to use that shield anyways. I really liked this with med kits because you don't have to go through the entire, 10-second animation to get like 30, 40 health, and I typically don't carry med kits anyways. But just know that you don't get to save what you don't use for later. Once you're done using it, like once you're full health, or you cancel it or you use it, it's gone either way. So just keep that in mind. Attachments are another huge change, or weapon mods are another huge change in this update, and this allows you to customize your weapons, but every weapon on the map will come with attachments aside from gray items. If it's a gray item, it doesn't come with attachments. If it's a green weapon, it comes with 1 attachment. If it's a blue weapon, it comes with 2 attachments. If it's a purple weapon, it comes with 3, and if it's a gold weapon, it comes with 4 attachments, and these are just completely random attachments. So I've seen people talk about like, yo, that shotgun with the scope on it, I hate it. The pump doesn't always spawn with a sight on it, but you might find a pump that has a sight on it, if that makes any sense. The attachments you find on random weapons are just random. Sometimes it might be attachments that you don't want. Sometimes it might be attachments that you do want. And the higher the rarity, not only do you get that better damage and reload speed, but also you get more attachments automatically coming on the weapon. You can customize your weapons at the vaults using gold. There's like these workbenches in the vaults that you open with the medallions, and you can use your in-game gold currency to customize the weapons. It's not pay to win or anything. For some reason, there was a lot of people confused about that today. People assuming it was going to be pay to win, like they would have to spend V-Bucks or something. It's the in-game gold currency that you would already use to kind of like go to vending machines or hire NPCs or whatever. And I thought the attachments were, you know, pretty cheap, and the attachments themselves are pretty basic. There's not downsides to them. So if you look at a game like Warzone, a lot of the attachments have pros and cons. In Fortnite, the attachments were just straight pros. So like if you have a sight, you get the sight, and then you go into first person mode when you use that weapon. Any of the weapons can be turned into first person weapons, kind of like, you know, the red eye. You just put the sight on it. There would be grips to reduce recoil, a laser sight to improve your hipfire accuracy. With the magazine, you could choose either a drum magazine or a speed magazine. One will reload faster, one will have a higher capacity. And the other attachments are like grips, which might reduce recoil or might improve your ADS speed. But overall, it was super simple to outfit the attachments. The medallions are also a super important aspect of the game. I think the most important thing in the Chapter 5 updates are going to be the medallions, and you can get these from eliminating the bosses, and there will be gold icons on your map showing where the medallions are and where the bosses spawn. So when you eliminate the boss, you pick this up. And then this is what you will use to open the vault, but it also makes it to where you regenerate shield over time. With one medallion, you will regenerate 3 shield per tick. And that's for 1 or 2 medallions. If you have 3 medallions, you will get 6 shield per tick. And then if you get 4 or 5 medallions, you will regenerate 8 shield per tick. And I think each tick is like a second or half a second. Either way, getting these medallions allows you to regenerate health. And so these are huge. And when you eliminate somebody, they drop their medallions. So if you have 2, you eliminate somebody that has 2. Now you have 4 and you're regenerating 8 shield per tick, which is very, 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 very good. The downside of these is that they do give your location away. Basically, like everybody in the lobby will have a bounty on you. If you've been playing and you've seen those gold circles, that's because somebody in that area has a medallion. And the more medallions you have, the smaller that zone gets. So this can kind of like grief you mid-game. But I think it's very helpful, and especially in-game, the circle isn't so small that it's really going to give your location away because it's about the same size as zone anyways. People will just know, like, okay, there's somebody in zone. No big deal. I would highly suggest trying to get these medallions, and during the course of the game, trying to find and eliminate players who have the medallions. One change from Fortnite OG that actually makes this chapter more like Chapter 4 is that mid-match objectives are back, but they're not nearly as impactful as they were before. So the radio tower is back. It works basically the same way. You get it, you'll see one zone in advance for the rest of the game, and these come at second zone, just like how they did last chapter. The loot island will still spawn in 4th zone. I'm not sure if it's 4th zone, but the loot island still spawns and the combat cache still spawns. But the key difference now is that the combat cache always spawns at blue rarity, and there's no slurp juice in the game. So you don't get slurp juice from the island, you don't get slurp juice from combat cache, you don't get slurp juice from the radio towers. And also loot island doesn't have like a specific weapon that you're going to get from it. It's just like loot, like how you would get from capturing any other POI in the past. You know, you would capture the POI and you would get some loot. So these mid-match objectives are here, but they're not as impactful as they were before. The only time I really found myself getting the combat cache is when I was just like desperate for shield, because at that point in the game, I typically had weapons better than blue anyways. But yeah, it's not as big of a deal. I think the medallions are like the much more important thing. The medallions and the radio towers are important. Getting combat cache or loot island, not the biggest deal to me. Riot shields are in the game this season, and a lot of players are having a problem with them. The shield user does leave their feet exposed, and if you do get close to them, you typically have more mobility than them, so you can kind of like sprint, jump, and shoot down on them, or try to like slide behind them. But definitely dealing with these Riot shield users is very annoying, and I would prefer it not be in the game. I don't even think it's that good. It's just one of those things that's like more annoying than anything else. Also, there is no augments in the game currently. I've seen people saying that augments are coming later on, but as of the games I played today, there is no augments. And then one final change I want to talk about is going to be the revive timer. So in the past, if you were trying to revive or reboot your teammate and then you got off that revive or you got off that reboot, all of your progress would go to 0, but that's not how it works anymore. So you can like be rebooting your teammate, you know, back off. It'll slowly decrease in progress over time, and then you can start rebooting them again and kind of pick up where you left off. And reviving is kind of the same way, so I'm sure a lot of people are gonna like that. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely have had situations where I'm rebooting a teammate and then I kind of get off at like the last possible second, and then we got to go through that entire process again, so that's super annoying. But those are the key things I wanted to talk about for Fortnite Chapter 5. As always, if you guys did enjoy this, give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, comment down below what you think of this. One final thing, you can take attachments off of weapons at those workbenches. So if you get a shotgun with a sight you don't want, you can remove it. And then also mythic weapons that you get from eliminating the bosses, you cannot change the attachments on. But like I said, that's going to be it for this video. If you guys found it helpful, informative, interesting, give it a like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.